Hello, everyone. Welcome to the ASL class. This is from Silent Rhythms. My name is Carrie Thompson, and I'm the director for the Silent Rhythms. Now, I am thrilled to introduce a good friend of mine, and her name is Anara Frank. She hails from the MetaMovements dance company. She's a good friend of mine, and she has taught me some dance moves long ago. And together, we have learned how to dance and how to make it more inclusive for other people with disabilities. So now it is my pleasure to introduce her to you. Here is Anara.
Hello, all right. Time to get started. So today's class is focusing on Cuban style salsa or casino of the type that Carrie and I first started when we met each other. I was teaching a casino class, and one thing that's interesting is that I was using hand signs as a way to teach. So she heard about the class, we met, and the rest is history. And this is over 15 years ago now. We've also traveled to Cuba together to be able to dance there with artists there and learn more about the history and the culture of the dance. But I think the most important thing is the joy that we get from this type of movement, from the rhythm, and from doing it all together. So I'm very excited to be working with Silent Rhythms and starting to teach you today the basics of Cuban salsa so that we can feel the rhythm together and that we can even think about next week learning some harder moves and more fun things that we can do when we're all back together again. Before we get into the dancing, Carrie and I wanted to share just a tiny bit of an interesting aspect of Cuban salsa history. Casino, which is the name of Cuban salsa, was invented in a place called the Casino Deportivo de La Habana. This was like a community center that people got together for all types of recreational sports, tennis, water, and dancing. At the time, the popular dances in the 1950s were mambo, son, cha-cha-cha, danzón, and contradanza. And increasingly popular was American swing or rock and roll. The dancers started to put things together from all of these styles, creating something new. And when they went out dancing and a mambo came on, they would dance in this new way. And when a danzón came on, or a cha-cha-cha, they would also dance in this new way. Even when American rock and roll came on, they would dance in this way. So people everywhere said, look at how the folks from the casino are dancing. And that is how it got the name casino, which has stuck from the 1950s till the present day. Now, part of casino dancing was a partner dance, like many of the other dances before. But another part of it is what we call the rueda, or circle of casino, where couples in a group dance together with one person calling out the moves and everyone else following along at the same time. Now, this special style was called la Rueda de Casino, and it is still popular today. Now, the first rueda was at the Casino Deportivo, but once it started to become popular, the third rueda invented was said to be the rueda of the signs. This rueda was started by a group of dance lovers that were deaf and mute, and they used signs to call out the moves. They were so successful because, of course, who can hear all the calls over the music, that many people adopted the idea of using hand signs. So from the 1960s up until today, we can thank this one circle of dancers for coming up with hand signs so that we could communicate no matter how loud the music is. And there are dancers in Cuba today traditional dancers who maintain this style, keep it alive, and do all of the rueda calling in silence with hand signs, communicating with each other on the dance floor. Now, we're not able to do rueda today because we're not in the same place, but we'll work on the basic steps so that when we're together again, we can not only try casino, but Rueda de Casino as a group. All right, so let's get started. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to talk about the rhythm. The rhythm for casino is 1, 2, 3, pause. And what we're going to do is we're going to clap our hands to feel where that rhythm is together. Watch me and let's do it. 1, 2, 3, pause. 1, 2, 3, pause. 1, 2, 3, pause. 1, 2, 3, pause. Okay, we're going to take that same rhythm and we're going to do it with our feet. So I'm going to back up and I'll get my feet and hands going so we can do our 1, 2, 3, pause all together. All right, I'm going to get started. Hands and feet. 1, 2, 3, pause. 1, 2, 3, pause. 1, 2, 3, pause. 1, 2, 3, pause. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And 1, 2, 3. All right, now we're going to take that same rhythm and we're going to practice traveling forwards and backwards, so that we can keep the rhythm in our feet, but feel like we can travel around the space as we're dancing. As I get closer to you, my feet may come out of the screen, but my hands will keep clapping, and Julia will keep leading us along. All right, let's get started. Ready, and 1, 2, 3, pause. 1, 2, 3, pause. 1, 2, 3, pause. 1, 2, 3, and backward 2, 3, pause. 1, 2, 3, pause. 1, 2, 3, pause. 1, 2, 3. All right, let's repeat it again, just a little bit faster. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, pause. 1, 2, 3, pause. 1, 2, 3, pause. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And backwards. And 1, 2, 3. And 1, 2, 3. And a circle. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And 1, 2, 3. All right. So we have traveled forwards. We have traveled backwards. We have traveled in a circle, all keeping the same beat in the music. What we're going to do now is we're going to start with some steps where our feet stay connected underneath our body, holding our weight centered, but stepping out in different directions to create the moves of the dance. Watch me, and we'll look at our front step. We're going to step forward, 2, 3, and forward, 2, 3, and front, 2, 3, and front, 2, 3, and front, 2, 3, and front, 2, 3. Step, and front, 2, 3, 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 front, 2, 3, front, 2, 3, and front, 2, 3. And to the back. And front, 2, 3, 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 and front, 2. All right. So we have done our front step, and now what we're going to do is we're going to look at how we keep that same rhythm, but we try it going out to the side. So we're going to step out to the side where we step to the front, and we're going to do our 2, 3 right underneath our body in the center again. So let's start by stepping out. That foot stays in place, 2 and 3. We're right back in the center. And we step out, 2, 3, and out, 2, 3, and out, 2, 3. A little bit faster. Here we go. And 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1 to the front, and 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, and to the side, 2, 3, and side, 2, 3, and side, 2, 3, and side, 2, 3. So with that same rhythm, we can do both front step and side step. Let's also now look at how we do the same rhythm to the back. So we're going to start with our back step. I'm going to turn to the side. And we're going to take our foot and step it right back, in place, and together. And back, 2, 3. And back, in place, together. And back, and together. And back, and together. And back, and together. And back, and together. And 1, 2, 3. And 1, 2, 3. And 1, 2, 3. And 1, 2, 3. And this way, same thing. And back and together. And back. And 1, 2, 3. And 1, 2, 3. And 1, 2, 3. And 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we have our back step, our front step, our side step, traveling forward, traveling backward, traveling in a circle, and I think it's time to add another step. Okay, the next step we're going to do is a diagonal back step. And so we're going to start with our feet open, about shoulder width apart. And when we take our step, instead of stepping straight back, we're going to step diagonally back. And open. Again, diagonal and open. Again, diagonal and open. Again, diagonal and open. That's it. Diagonal and open and diagonal and open and diagonal and open and diagonal and open. Turn around and here we go. Feet open and diagonal and open and diagonal and open and diagonal and open, diagonal and open and 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we now have a whole bunch of steps, and what we're going to do is we're going to put them together like a little series. We're going to do 4 times through of every step, and then we'll switch. So we're going to go front step, side step, back step, diagonal step. 4 times through of each one. All right, let's give it a try. Starting to the front. And here we go. We go front and together, and front and together, and front and together, and front to the side and together, and side and together, and side and together, and side to the back and together, and back and together, and back and together, and back and diagonal, and back, open and back, open and back, open and back, open to the front, and front, and front, and front, to the side, and side, and side, and side, and side, to the back, and back, and back, and back, and back, diagonal, and back, open, and back, open, and back. Yeah? Okay, so we have a whole bunch of steps. Now let's talk a little bit about how to move our arms. Our arms are going to take a runner-shaped position. And we're going to pretend that we are running in slow motion. I always like to think about the movies when they slow the running down, like Chariots of Fire. That's what we want to think about with our arms. Yes, exactly like that, just like Julia. Okay, so we're swinging our arms like this as we go. Let's get a nice fluid flow. Excellent. And let's put it to 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And with the feet in place. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And 1, 2, 3. Now we're going to do it in slow motion so we can see how the arms and the legs pair up. So when I'm stepping one leg, that leg that I'm stepping, the arm pulls back. The other arm at the same time is the one that's coming front towards the center of my chest. So whichever leg is stepping has the arm back and the other leg has the hand front. So as I pick up the foot to step, I switch. Pick up and switch. Pick up and switch. 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 All right, let's try it with our threes. Everybody ready? Here we go. 1, 2, 3. And 1, 2, 3. And 1, 2, 3. And 1, 2, forward. And 1, 2, 3. And 1, 2, 3. And 1, 2, 3. And 1, 2, 3. And backward. And backward. And back. And back. In a circle. And 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And 1, 2, 3. All right. Now we're going to try those same arms with the footsteps we already practiced. I'm going to turn around so that we can do it all together with you and me facing in the same direction so our feet and arms are working at the same time. We're going to do the same pattern that we did with 4 of each step, but we're just going to add the arms. I'm going to start over here on this side. Okay, for me it's my left. Here we go. And that's the arm that's pulling back. Ready? Here we go. And 1, 2, 3. And 1, 2, 3. And 1, 2, 3. And 1, 2, side. And 1, 2, 3. And 1, 2, 3. And 1, 2, 3. And 1, 2, back. And 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, diagonal. And 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And 1 to the front. And 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1 to the side. And 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. To the back. And 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, diagonal. And 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And 1, 2, 3. Okay, all right. We have put together a whole bunch of steps. And now I think we're ready for one that we call our guapea step. Pa ti, pa mi. Lots of Spanish words for this step. But for us, it's going to be like we're walking forwards and backwards. Okay? It's going to be one front step put together with one back step into a pattern that we repeat. We're going to try it on both sides together. And again, I'm going to turn my back to you so that we're all doing it at the same time. I'm going to be starting with my left foot going forward and my right foot going back. Here we go. My left foot going forward. And 1, 2, 3. Right foot back. 1, 2, 3. Left foot forward. 2, 3. Right foot back. 2, 3. Front, 2, 3. Back, 2, 3. Front, 2, 3. Back, 2, 3. We're going to do it from the side. And front, 2, 3. And back, 2, 3. And front, 2, 3. And back. And front. And back. And front. And back. All right, that was excellent. Now, what we're going to do is the same exact thing, but on the other one, okay? So we're gonna start with our right foot going forward and our left foot going back. Let's give it a try. Right foot, forward. And 1, 2, 3, left foot, back, 2, and 1, 2, 3, and back, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, and back, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, and back, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, back, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and back, 2. Now I'm going to do it from the side. Here I go. My right leg going forward. 1, 2, 3, and back, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, and back, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, and back, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, and back, 2, 3. Okay, so we talked about a whole bunch of steps, and these steps are the steps that form the basis of us being able to dance together in rhythm, in unison, by ourselves, with a partner, or with a whole group, like in Rueda de Casino. And it's like that rhythm of 1, 2, 3 is what's holding us all connected together as we're doing our dance, so that we're all moving together and feeling the same energy, that same rhythm inside as we go. If we're in a place where we can't hear the music, we can still feel that rhythm inside by connecting and looking at the other people around us and getting ourselves to all be on that same beat together. And there's something magical. When we feel like we're moving at the same time, something happens that we feel connected in the whole space together. It's one of our favorite feelings and why we like so much making sure that we can make salsa, and Cuban salsa in particular, available to everybody so that we can be together in this way. Now we're going to take a little break from the feet and we're going to talk a little bit about the rest of the body. The rest of the body is something that we use to add in style and flavor and to have fun when we're dancing. But it's not something that we want to have take away from our enjoyment of the rhythm and the beat that we're sharing together. So let's take a peek at what we can do to get our shoulders, our torso, and our hips playing around with the music and the rhythm as well. Let's start with the shoulders. I'm going to come a little bit closer. And what we're going to do to get the shoulders working is we're going to start by bending forward. And we're going to take one shoulder at a time, come down. And shoulder, 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 and shoulder, 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 and shoulder. All right, now let's pick it up to here. We still want the shoulders moving, but now our chest is up. So we can go shoulder, 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 a little faster. There we go. Shoulders, hands up, shoulders. Keep those shoulders going. All right, excellent. Now we're going to talk about the shoulders rolling. So we're going to roll them in a circle. Let's try rolling back, rolling back, rolling back, and rolling back. And now let's try rolling front, rolling front, rolling front, rolling front. Now what we're going to do is we're going to do one shoulder at a time, rolling. So we're going to roll back, 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 and back, back. Let's try the same to the front. Front, 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 front. Now, you might be thinking, where are we going to put this into our dance? Let's look at a couple places where we can throw in some shoulders. Let's start by looking at our side step, because it's easy to do where you can see my shoulders and you don't have to worry so much about my feet. So I'm open and together, open and together, open and together, open and shoulders, 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 shoulders. All right, let's talk about the rolling where we can put it. And this one, we're gonna go in our front to back step. Front to back step, and we're gonna be rolling in the front, okay? So we're going to roll and back, and roll and back, and roll and back, and roll and back. Okay, so we have a bunch to think about practicing with our shoulders, and I'm going to encourage you that it works best to practice the shoulders outside of dancing as well. I practice it when I'm brushing my teeth, practice it when I'm cooking, practice it while I'm watching TV. I always have a way to practice my shoulders so that my shoulders can get used to the movement and it comes in effortlessly when I'm dancing. Now, let's talk for a second about the torso. The torso, we're gonna think to start putting our hands on our hips and letting our torso go to one side, and to the center, and to the other side, and to the center. A little faster, side, center, side, center, side, center, side, center. We're gonna skip the center and just go side, 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 and side, 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 and side, side. Now, where does this fit into our basic step? Our side can be added over our feet to create additional movement in our bodies as we're going. Feeling really good, connected to the rhythm, and connected to the steps that we're doing. Let's try it on a front to back step, the way we did last with our shoulders. So I'm in my front to back step, and back. And when I add my torso, I'm gonna add it with the leg that I'm stepping on. Okay, so we're gonna go front step, back step, front step, back step, front step, back step. Now, for it to come naturally into your movement, just like the shoulders, we're gonna have to practice it separately. So you wanna practice this by itself, just like we practice this, just like we practice this. We wanna practice until this becomes easy and natural. All right, for the last movement of the day, let's talk about our hips. Again, we're gonna put our hands on our hips. I'm gonna back up just a little bit so that you can also see my knees. One of the interesting things about the hips is that the hips are being moved in salsa by the knees. So it's not the hips by themselves, it's the knees moving the hips. So when I first start to move the hips, I bend one knee and the hip comes out to the side on the straight leg. And I bend the other knee and the hip comes out to the other side on the straight leg. So my knees push my hips out to the side. My knees push, and that's what makes it work. I'm going to turn to the side so you guys can see the shape in my leg. Notice the triangle where I have one leg bent and one leg straight. Every time I switch, legs come together, the other triangle. Legs come together, the other triangle. Triangle. So you see, each time I do it, I'm creating a triangle with my legs. And it's that triangle that's moving my hips to be able to get that movement effortlessly into salsa. Let's try it one more time right here, and then we'll put it into our step. So my knee bends and the other hip pushes out. Knee bends, other hip pushes out. There we go. Excellent. Hip. Now, let's look at what happens when we put this into a step. Again, like our basic step, we can add the hip movement into it as we step. So, as we step forward, the hip comes out to the side. Hip, hip, hip. Hip, hip, hip. Now, just like all of the other movements, the most important thing is that we're practicing it outside of dancing so it feels natural, fun, and comfortable when we're inside dancing. So we're going to be practicing those hips, practicing the torso, practicing the shoulders. And all of those movements we're going to put together when we do our dancing next week and making up all sorts of steps that we can do to have fun and play when we're dancing in our houses. And of course, when the pandemic is over and we're back outside, what we can do all together. So I want to give you guys a big round of applause. You've done an awesome job today. I'm excited to be able to see you guys dancing in the future. And if you have any questions, you can write to Carrie, let her know what your questions are, and we can address those questions next week in class when we're working on some new steps, and we'll be reviewing these old ones as well, so that we're all feeling really confident about our Cuban salsa dancing for when we start dancing together again sometime soon. Thank you guys so much for participating, and I'll look forward to seeing you next time.